Hello YouTubers, this is DasGregor for another exciting video blog. Woohoo! Ah! I have no editing software to add that in, so... Ooh! Ah! There, it's in there. So much for that. Anyway, this video blog takes place way back when I was of age 15. I was just out of my freshman year in high school, had my first girlfriend, and my first job. My job was nothing glorious. It was just doing yard work, cleaning out a pond for an English teacher that I had there at the high school. But it paid well, about $5 an hour. You know, that's actually more money than the very first job I had with the government, which only paid me $3.25 an hour. That wasn't very much, and that was a couple years later. But anyway, I made $5 an hour cleaning the yard and the pond of an English teacher that I had. I would work about 5-6 hours a week, and that would get me about $25-30 to spend. For a 15-year-old, that was plenty, and it was great, because I would immediately take that money and convert it into Deutschmarks, which would give me a lot more. And because I had a girlfriend, and she lived across town, I had to figure how to get there. So I learned very quickly how to take the buses, and the trains, and the streetcars there in Stuttgart, where I was living at the time. I learned how to read maps, and learned how to get places very quickly. It's helped me a lot in my life. While I was there in Stuttgart, I learned to take my 10-speed traveling touring bike and go all over the place. I learned how to get to the different barracks and the different sites, and I learned not to be afraid to get out there and just learn how to be out on the bus, talking to people and finding directions, learning what the answers are. You know, one thing you'll always forget is every person always remembers to learn how to say the question in the foreign language, but they always forget to learn what the answers should be. For instance, one of the first things that they teach you is, "Wo ist die Bahnhof?" or, "Where is the train station?" But what if you went to somebody and you said, "Wo ist die Bahnhof?" And he says, Esther, geradeaus und dann links und geradeaus zwei Blocken und dann rechts, geradeaus 3 Kilometer und dann links und der Hauptbahnhof ist da. Now, I apologize for any real German speakers out there. Mein Deutsche is schrecklich. It has been a long time since I've had to speak it, and anyway, I've been in the States for 11 years, and it's very rusty. But still, you understood "Wo ist die Bahnhof?" But you didn't understand "go straight, go left, turn straight a couple blocks, turn right, go a couple kilometers, it's there on the left." Otherwise, you were still standing there going, "Okay, wo ist die Bahnhof?" Either way, I learned during this time how to get around, what the answers are, as well as what the questions are. For instance, another thing is when you go into a store and you want to know what something costs, you say, "Wie viel kostet diese?" and whatever it is. But if you don't know your numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so forth, then how do you know what they tell you? Or, if you're in southern Germany, zwei is not zwei, es ist zwo. So it's 1, 2, 3. Just like in northern Germany, where they speak Hochdeutsch, in southern Germany they speak Schwäbisch. And in Schwäbisch, you don't say "Auf Wiedersehen," you say "Tschüss." So, "Auf Wiedersehen" is the Hochdeutsch way of saying things. "Tschüss" is the southern way of saying things. And there's a lot of other nuances. Now, the funny thing about this is, if you come back to the United States, you can go pretty much anywhere in the country, and for the most part, there might be a little bit of dialect. For instance, you go down south, you get some of them people that have that little bit of southern accent. They sound like they're down good home people. They know how to get things done. You know, they have certain terms like "get her done," that sort of thing. But you know what? It's still English, and you can still understand what they're wanting to say. But you get into certain parts of Germany, and the wording is completely different. So they really can tell what part of Germany you're from just by the different words you use. I had a friend of my mother's once say that when she was in the Gymnasium, the German high school, she had to learn a foreign language, so she chose German. She, of course, was Schwäbisch, from the southern part of Bavaria. So, as you can see, it is quite different. And that's funny about this topic, because this isn't the topic I started talking about. I actually was going to talk about hiking and biking in Europe. I get off subject very easily. I'm easily distracted. Oh well. But I thought that was a little bit of an interest there. So, anyway, about hiking and biking. It was because of what I learned in Stuttgart that followed me when I went to Heidelberg in 1990 to continue to look and find my ways about things. Now, one really great thing about being in Germany is you can go anywhere and find a streetcar, a bus, a walking path, a bicycle path, anything. And you can take these things at a very reasonable cost and get wherever you want to go. I didn't get my first car in Europe until I was 19 years old. And the only reason why I got my car then was because after taking groceries home a couple times and taking the streetcar for half hour to 40 minutes and then having to walk another mile or two to get to my apartment, 2 bags of groceries start to get very heavy. So I decided I'd go ahead and get my own car and at least use it to get back and forth to work. I mean, it's a 15-minute drive versus an hour and a half to take the bus and the streetcar. So you do the math. But for other things, it's a great opportunity to be able to just get out there and go and take a streetcar wherever you want, or just walk. There were so many times when I would pack a backpack full of food and water and just walk out the door and just look around and say, okay, where do I want to go today? And sometimes I'd have no clue where I was going. One time I actually cycled on a day that I was actually bicycling all the way to Mannheim, which was about a 30-35 mile trip from where I lived in Waldorf. That was some trip, because I then had to turn around and bike the whole way back home, which ended up being a full day affair. And the next day I was sore, but it was a fun, interesting trip, and I never had to take one major road that whole time. In fact, I used to cycle to school and then to work every day, which was about a 25-mile round trip for me. But it was fun. You saw so many interesting things that you normally wouldn't see, and it was a great experience. One really neat thing about Germany is during the spring and summer and part of the early fall, they have things called Volksmarches. Some of you may have heard of a Volksmarch. It literally stands for People March. But each town will sometimes host a Volksmarch where you can do a 10-kilometer or 20-kilometer hike. Now, that's a 6-mile or 12-mile hike for those who don't know kilometers. And it's really interesting because they take you through different parts of the town. You get a small passport that you get stamped at different spots. And then at the end of it, when you turn in your passport for the stamps, they give you whatever that prize or souvenir from their town might be. Sometimes when you're just traveling through, you wouldn't see half of those sites, and it's a really neat thing to do, to be able to see that and to go about your business and just see each little town up close by walking it and checking it out. It's a very pedestrian friendly place. And so that's what I really wanted to talk about, because recently I've been very discouraged with the United States in regards to the fact that I am scared to death to get on my 10-speed and cycle anywhere besides right outside my home. I don't dare go on any major roads, because most roads are driven by weirdos who don't know how to drive to begin with, and would drive and run me off the road before I had a chance to even cross it. And don't even talk about trying to walk anywhere out here. You don't have sidewalks here that go anywhere. You might have a little bit, and you're on a sidewalk in the middle of a residential area, and all of a sudden the sidewalk just disappears. Where did it go? Because you're not about to get me on the street here. I'd walk the streets of Germany anytime. I felt very safe when I was over in Europe. I mean, it was nothing for me to get up 10, 11 o'clock at night if I couldn't sleep, put on my shoes and just go walk in the town, or during the middle of the day, for that matter. You know, it was nothing to just get out and go. You know, it was a fun, easy, comfortable, and safe thing to do over there. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that now. I mean, I haven't been out there for nearly 12, 13 years. But still, when I was there between 88 and 95, it was a very comfortable, good place to be, and I enjoyed it immensely. And I probably talked a little bit too long for this video blog, and I don't want to keep it too long because I don't want people thinking that, oh my gosh, he's talking forever, I can't stand this anymore, we've got to get rid of this guy, he talks too much. So for now, I'm going to cut this off, but I hope y'all enjoyed my little rant, my little rave about Europe and walking and hiking and every little bit else that I've talked about in this little vlog. And until then, let me tell you, auf Wiedersehen, tschüss, arrivederci. Good day, good evening, good morning, whatever you're having, have it, and enjoy it, because I know I am. Thank you very much for your time, and thanks for listening. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.